Welcome to the Thought for the Day for Thursday, the 2nd of December. The reading is from Matthew chapter 13, verses 1 to 23, the parable of the sower. That same day Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such large crowds were gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow, but when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 100, 60 or 30 times what was sown. Whoever has ears, let them hear. The disciples came to him and asked, Why do you speak to the people in parables? He replied, Because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. This is why I speak to them in parables. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people longed to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it. Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their heart. This is the seed sown along the path. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. The seed falling among thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 100, 60 or 30 times what was sown. My first thought when I saw that this was the passage for today was, well, that's a long one, and what more can I say about the parable of the sower that hasn't already been said? We all know it from childhood and Sunday school. There's always a lot of analysis about agriculture and horticulture. But of course the great thing about preparing for these thoughts for the day is that when you start thinking about it, there is so much more to it. This is one of Jesus' early parables, and the disciples want to know why he uses them in his teaching. Jesus says that it's because many are opposed to his direct teachings. It's a way that if he chooses to enlighten them and they have faith in him, they will understand them. But not everyone will. This parable seems to be essential for understanding all the rest of Jesus' parables. At least I don't need to explain this one, as Jesus does that for the disciples so clearly. But what does this explanation mean for us? Well, it's clear that the seed is the word of God, so there's nothing wrong with the seed. And it's clear that a number of things can happen to this seed. But it's this difference between hearing and understanding. You will be ever hearing but never understanding. You will be ever seeing but never perceiving, for this people's heart has become calloused. So we're back to the heart again. That calloused or hardened heart is going to be immune to the word of God. We all know people who will always have a reason not to listen or to look for a scientific explanation instead. Those who look after themselves and who don't need God. And then there's the birds. The evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in the heart. We live by a field where we often watch the tractors and combine harvesters ploughing, sowing and harvesting the crop. When the seed is sown, it looks like a scene from Hitchcock's The Birds. Pigeons, jackdaws, I've always thought they look a bit evil, and even seagulls. We're miles from the sea, but it's as though the word has got out and they've all come to take what they can. This reference to the evil one just makes it clear that he's always there, ready to take advantage and do whatever damage he can. And the seed with no roots, the shallow heart. It receives the word with joy, but being human means we will sometimes experience pain and suffering. We must choose how to respond. Do we try to toughen up our hearts to protect them further, or follow the way of Jesus and allow our hearts to be softened, or maybe turn to Buddha or the universe in the vain hope they can offer more? I can relate to the heart crowded not by thorns but by the worries of this life. But there is also the deceitfulness of wealth, promising happiness, which you see with people on quiz shows with large cash prizes or the postcode lottery. You would think they had found the secret to eternal joy. Or it might be the frenzy that is a Christmas focusing on overindulgence, food, drink or presents. There are so many demands on our time and attention. I know they say women can multitask, but I seem to have missed out on that one. I can only do one thing at once. My take on it is that I then focus on one thing and consider it more deeply and have good attention to detail. However, it means that other things can fall by the wayside. What I choose to focus on is important, and I need encouragement from others to choose the right thing. I need to take time to listen to God, to hear what it is He wants from me. So what does a fruitful heart look like? How do you multiply the seed and produce a crop many times over? Well, it's not our job to convert people. Our job is not to decide who gets to hear and understand the message, but we are called to serve. We have the Word of God planted in our church. Locally, we are going to be going through a period of uncertainty and possibly fear. What would a fruitful heart say? This is what is wrong with our church, or what can I do to help? In this time of Advent, waiting and anticipating, looking forward, it's a perfect time leading up to the celebrations of Jesus' birth to spread the word. The hope that Sam talked to us so powerfully about on Sunday, which you can catch on YouTube if you missed it. It was a chance conversation in church at Christmas about 10 years ago that got me going to a home group. When Linda the evangelist mentioned Bible study, I thought, I'm not sure it's for me, but I'm so glad I went. It doesn't matter if it's 30, 60 or 100-fold. It's a bit like the R rate. As long as it's more than one, it will spread and it can be exponential. So I pray today that our hearts are not crowded, calloused or shallow, but soft and fruitful.